Most people, most of the time, have absolutely no idea what reality is, who they are, or what others are like. It's because just about all of humanity, we're walking around with these VR helmets on, with programs running. They've been put in there since childhood, where we've heard about ourselves, others, and the world, things that we believe in. Our false identifications with external factors, it creates like this altered reality that we see the world through. But not only that, we also have our backpack on, heavy backpack, full of all these emotional traumas, the unhealed traumas, the emotional blockages and build up, everything that we didn't let off steam or worked on or faced. Then we have on our ankles this big heavy chain with weights dragging, that we have to drag around with our ancestral trauma from generations in our family, national trauma or ethnic group trauma. Then we have in front of us, it's like, you know how the horse has this, you can put a carrot in front of the horse to make it go in a certain direction. For us, it's more like our dreams, our desires, what we want, what we long for. But then we have in one hand, we have a whip to whip away everything that we don't want. People, situations, stuff, to try to keep them away from us. Then we have a shield to protect us from not getting hurt, from people not getting too close, to be heartbroken and all of that. And then we have all this bling to attract people, situations, to be loved, to be included, to be seen. So with all this stuff going on at the same time, how can we possibly be neutral and objective to see things as they are? We can't. It's only when we shed these layers, strip off, and stand there naked in our essence, without all this added stuff, that we can truly see ourselves for who we are, and thus also know others as they are and the world, without all these other distorted views of reality. So how do you do that? You can do it in a few different ways, or quite commonly, which is hard, is through something bad happening in your life, through trauma, and you get completely shaken about by something horrible. So the cracks in this, all these, what do you call it, these clothing, these accessories, all this external stuff, the cracks get so deep that your inner light shines through, and you start to realize, hey, wait a minute, I'm not all of these things. I'm something else, something much more. Or you can do it through working on yourself, discovering your triggers, your personal history, your behavior mechanisms. It could be addictions, your shadow work, daring to feel your emotions, observing your thoughts. Working on this to understand, to slowly start to take things out of your backpack here, and you start to lower your shield a bit. But then the fantastic thing is that in every moment, in every now, you have the possibility to feel that which is, to feel your essence, to feel life as it is. You can only do it in this present moment, because as soon as you start to remember the past or dread or fear something in the future, you're not quite here, and then you're living then you're seeing through all these filters again. But when you're completely present in this moment and you don't pick up, you don't follow your thoughts, you don't go with them, You just continue to be here in this very moment, naked, in your essence. If thoughts pop up, just leave them. Just go back to the now, to the now. And here, in the now, being consciously aware of this present moment, being friends with the present moment, not getting up your whip to try to push something away, not trying to protect your heart with your, with your shields. No, open, accepting, curious, observing, present. Am I aware that I'm aware? Yes, I'm here, I'm now, I'm aware. Here, you can feel your inner being, your essence, that underlying stillness and peace that's always there. But it might seem so subtle that you sort of overlook it because you're so caught up in all these other phenomena and identifications and filters and things around you. But if you dare to dive into that stillness, it might even feel boring initially. It's like, what is that? That's not, I was expecting bliss. I was expecting fireworks, and all that, to get to know, my true essence, my higher self, my divine nature. No. Initially, it can feel almost like just, okay, you get restless. That's the ego going wanting something always, because the ego, it doesn't like the present moment. It can't stand it. Actually, it doesn't exist in the present moment because it's an idea, it's a concept, it's an illusion, it's a veil, it's a distortion. Smokes and mirrors is not real. So when you are present, here and now, that's when you can know yourself. So the more you really land in the present moment, you can do that through mindfulness, through meditation. But don't just stop there. Start to inquire and investigate. Get curious about who it is that's observing everything. Who is it that is aware of all the comings and goings of all these different things? Who is aware of all these clothing, filters, masks that you carry around? All the thoughts, the sensations, the feelings. That is permanent. And the more you start to get a taste for that, the more you start to live from that space as that, the stronger and clearer it gets. And the stronger it gets, the more you realize that it is joy, it is love, it's peace. But not because of anything. It's just, that's the nature of it. That's what it is. So yes, if you're wondering how to shed these layers and how to know yourself, how to remember yourself, how to know your essence, how to wake up, I say this is the best way to do it. It's not, doesn't have to be this long path, long journey of really working on yourself a long time, like working, discipline. And it's certainly not just going, on a weekend retreat and thinking and have this amazing experience and then it was like, whoa, I'm awake and I will stay awake. That's normally not the case. It goes like that then. But to bring it into your everyday life, to bring presence, conscious awareness, and that curiousness, openness, inquiry into your knowing your innermost nature, of wanting to know yourself, that in your everyday life, it will expand. And then naturally it will start to, I wouldn't say take over your life, but that will be where you reside and where you live more and more and more. Yes, for some people it's like turning a switch, but it's quite rare. Like Eckhart Tolle, it would happen in an instant for him, and then he stayed awake. But for most people, I'd say it's not like that. It's not just like, if something happens and then you just stay awake. It's normally a process of an opening, a realization, and then you sort of get caught up in your ego and filters and these VR helmets again. And then you wake up again. But for every time you wake up, you normally stay awake longer and the experience gets deeper and deeper. Because the thing is, if you've had an experience of the divine, of your innermost nature, which I'm sure you've had, most of us had to some degree. It can be in like real intimacy, like if you had children, when they were born and you just held them. That love. When you're truly in love, and I don't mean about just attraction or infatuation, about ownership of someone. I mean like the true love. But it can also be when you're completely present, when you immerse yourself in something creative, in nature and beauty. It can happen in so many different instances in your life. I'm sure you've experienced it. You might not even think about it, but it's been there. For some people, it's been more of almost feels like this religious or supernatural, spiritual whoa feeling with energy and lights and vibrations and shaking and visions and colors and all of that. Doesn't mean it's more or less important than those moments of just complete love and stillness. No. But if you've had that taste, you know that that's what you want. And nothing else in life is really going to be enough, because you know what it's supposed to be like. You know what your natural state is. And it's natural to want to go back to that. Problem is that when our ego gets activated and the ego tries to have an idea what it's like and how to go back there, it doesn't really work. It's only through being extremely present and aware, consciously aware of you being present, that you can start to dive into your innermost being and get to know yourself. And there you have all the answers, all the things that you've been looking for, searching for, longing for, wishing for, hoping for, dreaming of. It's already your nature. So it's not even a trying, it's not even you try to achieve something, it's more of a relaxing into, like a sort of a surrendering into yourself. It's like that you've been tense, clenching up all the time, and then you just start to relax into it. And you let that guide you, your inner being, your inner light, and you flow with that. And you notice then that your intuition is starting to get clearer and louder. Your heart is more open. Yes, it will hurt sometimes, but it's also extremely open to all the love and the beauty, the empathy. And you might start to get a new compass in life. Some of the values that you had before might shift a bit. Your life might shift a bit. Your priorities might shift. And it can be very scary, very confusing. You might feel stuck, like all of a sudden things that you thought were so important in your life and you worked so hard for and strive for, they might not even seem that important anymore. And before that new compass kicks in and becomes clear, you can feel like you're lost in limbo. But just trust the process, it's part of it. And just keep landing in the moment. And keep observing your ego, thoughts, feelings, sensations in your body. It's like you distance yourself a bit. You get another perspective, a larger perspective, and you see them in a new light. You're not completely immersed in them, identified with everything, going on a roller coaster ride. And you're not so affected by external circumstances anymore. Other people's energies, what they tell you, what they do, situations that occur in your life. Your happiness, your inner security and peace will not be completely dependent upon that. You won't go backwards and forwards, thrown from joy to despair, depending on external factors. It's much easier than to remain in your center. And I don't mean that means that you will accept everything in the world, that you will not take action, that you will not stand up for yourself or for others, and that you just become complacent and would just turn the other cheek and accept whatever going on. No. But when you act from a reality anchored, neutral, calm space where you're not in your ego, when your decisions are not just reactive on autopilot, but where you can take action from a deeper space of wisdom, and also more of a neutral and objective place where you're not just caught up in what your subconscious programming on what you want to attract or what you want to push away or hide from or attack or whatever it is. So when you go on this, I wouldn't even say journey, it's more like a diving in to self-knowledge, self-discovery. At times it is extremely scary because you get to face the demons, the shadows, your ego, sometimes memories will come up from things that you've suppressed, emotions. But the more you start to look at them and daring to feel them, but without getting caught up in your thoughts about, you're commenting, you're judging, you're remembering this and that and why, and now you're just feeling it. It will take a lot of the charge away from it. And then when you start to feel, you will have moments where you start to really feel, wow, I'm walking on clouds, I'm really happy, I feel love for humanity, everything is going my way, and I have this high vibration, I'm in the vortex. And then all of a sudden, you might have this most traumatic experience come up. Or for no apparent reason, you might just feel really bad and you don't know what's going on and you feel shit. This shouldn't be like that. I'm on the spiritual path and I have this high vibration, I'm working on myself and I do my meditations. Why is this happening? Because when you meditate, it's like, okay, imagine a big barrel of water. And you put things in this barrel of water throughout time, from your childhood, throughout your life, and you've kept stirring. And as you stir in this water, in this barrel, it's all murky, it's all moving, and you don't really see what's in there. You just see this movement of sort of a bit murky water. And as you stop stirring, it's like when you start to meditate a lot and your conscious presence and all that, the water becomes still and clear. But just as you think that everything is still and clear, things start to pop up to the surface. So that's what happens. your deepest rooted problems. It's like you can get to them by the root now. It's like they get discovered. It's like, you know how in winter the ground becomes completely solid and things can't really break through and grow. But then in spring, the ground will get softer and new life can come up to the surface. And it's like that with the presence. It sort of softens up the surface, so your problems, your traumas, your suppressed emotions, things that have happened to you that you haven't really looked at or felt, acknowledged, validated, they can now start to come up. And sometimes it happens when you least expect it and you don't know what it is, because you might just live this seemingly happy, perfect life, or not, which often is the case. And don't be disheartened or confused. That's a part of the process. And yes, there is help to get. There is always help to get. There are so many other people that are going through the same things and have gone through the same things. You can get inspired by people that have walked that path. Through watching videos and podcasts, joining, for instance, our program on one-on-one sessions in a group community, and just talking. But a really good thing that you can do by yourself as well is externalize these feelings, emotions. You can do it by sitting and feeling them, but you can also do it through the arts, through physical movement, through writing it out, singing, screaming, just finding ways to let off that steam and let off that charge. And continue to just be present, present, present. And then it might just as well be the opposite as well. In the middle of it, when you think it's so hard and you feel like you're not going anywhere, and despite all your good efforts and that you might have been years on this so-called spiritual path, you've been a seeker and doing everything by the book, you feel stuck and you don't know why. And then all of a sudden, when you're consciously present, with no expectations, you just open to the present moment, you just realize how extremely simple it is. When you let go of your expectations of what spirituality is like, or what it's supposed to be like, or what it's supposed to be like when you awaken or when you get enlightened, it's often then that it happens, that you just realize what's already here. Okay, there's nothing to achieve, search for, create. It's your natural state. So when you are present, consciously present, you are naked, as in you don't have that VR helmet, you don't have that whip and the backpack and the shield and your chains from your ancestral trauma and the bling and the carrot and all that. You don't have that. You don't identify with that. You don't drag that along with you. You're not burdened by that. You don't see the world through that. So as you strip away all that in the present moment, and you're just there as this light and love that you are. That's when you're home. And that's when you realize that everyone share that same essence, that light. And the more you are in that, the more you live from that, you will automatically inspire other people. And together, as humanity, we will wake up together. We will help each other with that. It's possible in our lifetime to see this shift, to see this change. Because we've been ignorant before, we haven't known. We thought it was complicated. We read about it in these scriptures and it seemed really complicated and only for a special select few people. And it's not like that. It's who we all are. We just need to strip down and know our essence. And that can only be done right here and right now, not later, not by remembering. In this very moment. So I urge you and I ask you to please land in the present moment as often as possible. And there become curious about who you really are. Start to investigate that. First you might want to find out what you're not, but then you start to get a taste for what you are. And the more you direct your attention towards yourself, that which is experiencing and observing everything, and you start to feel more and more of what you like. You start to discover yourself more. And that's the most beautiful thing that you can ever experience. The most beautiful gift that you can ever give yourself and the people you love and the world. Real self-knowledge.